employment of 34 resident doctors. Nigerian Police Day. And National Orientation Agency gives feedback on campaign against fuel scoping. Glad to have you join us. I am Mariam Abubakar Kana. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has approved the employment of 34 resident doctors and social media, Lere Olainka. The employment of 34 doctors for residency training is for a fixed term of 7 years and will serve as the first batch of the 60 medical residency trainees in 8 faculties and specialties in the FCTA hospitals, approved for employment by the FCT minister. The statement adds that the of the 34 resident doctors will further enhance healthcare. Among the 34 newly employed, 5 will be general surgery and anesthesiology, 8 in family medicine and gynecology departments. He says the FCTA Civil Service Commission will soon commence the process for the recruitment of the remaining 26 resident doctors to be also employed to the various FCTA health departments. The Central Bank of Nigeria has firmly moving on. The Central Bank of Notes dismissing the claim as false. The purported circular, which spread widely on WhatsApp, was debunked by the Apex Bank in a statement released via its official handle on X, formerly known as Twitter. The fake document falsely attributed to the CBN claimed the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has officially earned 10,000 Naira banknotes as part of ongoing efforts to streamline cash transactions and improve liquidity management. The Nigerian police force
Ahmed Tinubu GCFR on the 19th April 2024 during the Nigeria Police Award and Commendation Ceremony in Abuja. It will provide a platform to recognize the force's pivotal role in safeguarding lives and property while reinforcing public trust and collaboration in maintaining law and order.
Make the ultimate sacrifice in the line of duty. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetekun has reaffirmed the force's commitment to professional excellence and public service. As preparations intensify, the IGP urges Nigerians to join in celebrating the gallant officers of the Nigerian police force and their invaluable contributions to national security. Nigeria Police Day stands as a testament to the resilience, dedication, and courage of police personnel, inspiring future generations to uphold the highest ideals of the service and integrity. The community policing initiative in the Federal Capital Territory has taken a new turn today in Garki, Abuja. Police management officers and personnel took to the streets for community outreach. This exercise is part of a 6-day lineup of activities by the Police High Command to commemorate National Police Day 2025. Correspondent Onotu Yakubu shares a glimpse of the Nigerian police unusual side with the FCT residents.
It is 6 o'clock Wednesday morning. Operatives of the FCT Police Command, led by the Commissioner of Police, CP Ajao Adewale, stormed Garki village. This time around, it is not the usual operation. The target is not to arrest a suspect. Rather, is it designed to rid the community of suspected criminals. This time, the target is for community service. All done in white t-shirts and camouflage trousers, the cavalry this time wields unconventional weapons compared to the usual AK-47 rifle and 9mm Barita pistol. The suspects are the littered streets, the clogged and overflowing gutters, as well as sewage channels in Garki village. The cavalry was confident that rakes and shovels would do to get the suspects behind bar. Commander of the operation, Ajao Saka Adewale, pulled the first trigger.
In line with the philosophy of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olukayode Adeolu Egbetokun, PAD, that police is part of the community. We exist because the community exists. We are here to give back to the community, the society we serve, what we can equally offer.
The gesture is one born out of the quest to own the communities they are policing, underscoring the theme for this year's celebration, Say No to Crime. Off the streets, the team took the advocacy to the Sape's Palace, drawing support for both law enforcement and the public in tackling issues of security.
We have been making sure, calling our people, that we should make sure that we take note of anything that would destabilize or cause any confusion within the chiefdom. So we want to assure you, with your coming, we are going to collaborate with you, collaborate with your men, your officers, so that we'll be able to achieve the maximum result while you have been posted here.
The command expressed gratitude to the IGP's visionary leadership and commitment to community policing to modernize and reform the police. In Abuja, Onotu Yakubu, NTA News.
The National Orientation Agency, NOA, says campaign against false coping is yielding positive results as it takes feedback to government and other stakeholders for immediate action. Kenneth Nanim reports that the agency is urging relevant authorities to prioritize the concerns being raised.
Incidents of overturned articulated vehicles, especially tankers loaded with petroleum products, were frequently being experienced in parts of the country. When this happens, some citizens, out of ignorance or greed, throw caution to the wind, are moving to scoop the product or to loot the goods, as the case may be. Unfortunately, the overturned petrol tankers usually get exploded, most times causing loss of lives and property. As worrisome as the situation was becoming, President Bola Tinubu gave the National Orientation Agency a fresh mandate for an intensive reorientation campaign. Having been in the field to ensure the message gets to the target audience, National Orientation Agency now has feedback.
The nature of the roads, what have we done with this feedback? We're sending it back to Ministry of Works. So we're saying prioritize these type of areas. Do you understand? So that the challenge of bad roads leading to tankers toppling over will be significantly reduced.
The need to urgently establish tanker farms across the country is one of the needs the agency is pointing to that must be met.
Which brings up the issue that state governments should pay attention to creating tank parks, and make those tank parks conducive. We have also found out that in some states where those are provided, the necessary facilities are not in place, and then the place is not even large enough to accommodate the number of tankers that transit through that place and must need a place to park overnight, and all of that.
Drugs and other substance abuse amongst drivers of articulated vehicles, the agency also pointed to as a challenge that must be put on constant check.
Which means that NDLEA, in its checking that it does along the road, should be more vigilant, about this nature of drivers, conduct drug tests, on them.
Part of the findings also reveal that some citizens are yet to understand that these petroleum products that spill or other goods that are being wasted are other citizens' investments that should be protected. They should show empathy and concern instead of going to loot scoop, or pack the product as if they are free for all. Kenneth Lanning, NTA News.
Embracing new methodology in the Nigerian pedagogical curriculum is a pathway that will lead to improved academic performance of students. Professor Benneth Coleman Uzoechi made the assertion during the 51st inaugural lecture series of Nasarawa State University, KEFI. Usai Pivi has the details.
The audience in this hall for the 50th inaugural lecture series of Nasarawa State University KEFI was held spellbound by the erudition of Professor Uche Walike on the ways the economic deficit of the country can be turned to gains. Affirming his chair as a professor of capital market, Uwaleke says agriculture, medical science, ICT and engineering are areas which, if well harnessed, have the potential of changing Nigeria to one of the developed economy in the world.
There's need for us to deepen the capital market, to strengthen it, to be able to provide, funds, long-term funds to meet that objective of providing a supportive environment where entrepreneurial skills and competencies can be sharpened such that the entire actors can now be in a position to unlock wealth.
Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima, in a message assures the citizenry that federal government will key into some recommendations embedded in the lecture.
This gathering of scholars and policy makers reminds us of the need to bridge the gap between theory and practice. We must believe in the enduring power of knowledge and its ability to shape the trajectory of a nation.
Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Sadatu Hassan Liman, appreciates the choice of topic as it touches and addresses the economic challenges in Nigeria.
His lectures have given us recommendations on the way forward for Nigeria in order to leverage on the entrepreneurial ecosystem.
Topic of the lecture is Unlocking Wealth and Leveraging Entrepreneurial Knowledge Ecosystems, Understanding Capital Harnessing Essentials. Nguse PV, NTA News.
You are still watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. The news continues shortly after this timeout.
I am Oluremi Tinubu, the global and national Stop TB champion. Many people have asked why I've chosen to champion the fight against a disease like tuberculosis. My reason stems from a deep personal experience. I once had a friend who unfortunately fell ill and concealed the nature of his sickness until it was too late. Eventually, after he passed, we discovered he had tuberculosis. Sadly, due to the stigma and discrimination surrounding the disease, he would not speak up or seek for help. His death was a painful reminder that we could have intervened and saved a life if only we had known earlier. Tuberculosis is an airborne disease that primarily affects the lungs, but can also impact other parts of the body. Being airborne means anyone, regardless of their social economic status, can contract it. In Nigeria, one person dies of TB-related illness every 7 minutes, amounting to 206 deaths every day. Globally, one person succumbs to TB every 25 seconds, which is a staggering 3,456 lives lost daily. These deaths are entirely preventable because TB is curable if detected and treated early. If you or someone you know has been coughing for 2 weeks or more, coughing up blood, experiencing night sweats, or losing weight drastically, it might be TB. Please visit the nearest government hospital or primary healthcare center for proper diagnosis and treatment. TB treatment is free in all government and some private health facilities. Let us also remember not to stigmatize or discriminate against TB patients or those who have been treated for TB. Individuals who have been cured of TB cannot infect others. I call on all stakeholders, especially the private sector, to join us in the fight to end TB in Nigeria. Together, we can make a difference. Remember, TB anywhere is TB everywhere. End TB by 2030. Yes, we can.
Good evening. Glad to have you join us.
Thanks for joining us on Weekly News Wrap.
Thank you very much for having me.
And it is on that note we welcome you to today's edition of the program.
We celebrate creativity, lasting impressions.
There's no book stating that this is the role for men.
On the news.
On the news at 7.
The
news station NTA Channel 5, Abuja.
Would say have a lovely day.
Thanks for staying tuned. And now for happenings on the foreign scene, let's join Sandra Akemi for the Globe this week. Welcome to the Globe this week, a segment of the news where we'll be diving into the latest stories making headlines around the world. I am Sandra Akemi. Now, the European Union has strongly condemned the US tariffs imposed by President Donald Trump, calling them a major blow to the world economy. European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen expressed the EU's concerns, stating that they are prepared to respond with countermeasures. Meanwhile, China has vowed to retaliate against the US tariffs, escalating the ongoing trade tensions between the two nations. This move has sparked fears of a global trade war, which could have far-reaching consequences for the world economy. In a surprise move, the Democratic Republic of Congo's President Felix Tshisekedi has commuted the death sentences of 3 American citizens to life imprisonment, according to presidential spokesperson Tina Salama, who made the announcement on national television. The president's decision is a significant development in the case of the 3 Americans who were convicted of involvement in coup attempts. While details of the case are still emerging, it is clear that this move is a positive step towards resolving the situation. The commutation of the death sentences of life imprisonment is likely to be welcomed by the international community and the families of the 3 Americans involved. And a powerful earthquake struck Myanmar on March 28, causing widespread destruction and loss of life. The quake, which had a magnitude of 7.7, was centered in the Sayagan region and was felt as far away as Thailand and China. The death toll from Myanmar's devastating earthquake has surpassed 3,000, with hundreds more missing, as forecast of unseasonal rain presented a new challenge for rescue and aid workers trying to reach people in a country riven by civil war. One of the Southeast Asian nations strongest in a century jolted a region home to 28 million toppling buildings, flattening communities, and leaving many without food, water, and shelter. But conditions could get even tougher for the huge relief efforts after weather officials warned unseasonal rain. Rescue efforts have been complicated by the country's ongoing civil war, which has divided the region and made it difficult for aid workers to reach affected areas. However, the UN has called for unimpeded humanitarian access to ensure that aid can reach those who need it most. Similarly, Israel has significantly escalated its military campaign in Gaza, with Defense Minister Israel Katz announcing plans to seize large areas of the territory. This move is part of an ongoing effort to dismantle armed groups' infrastructure, particularly targeting Hamas. The expanded offensive has resulted in devastating consequences, with over 50,000 Palestinian deaths reported.
mostly civilians. The Gaza Health Ministry has confirmed that the conflict has caused widespread destruction and displacement, with many residents forced to leave their homes. The situation has been further complicated by a blockade on humanitarian supplies, including food, water, and medical equipment. The United Nations has condemned Israel's actions, citing concerns over the disproportionate impact. The Palestinian Islamic Jihad has characterized Israel's actions as war of extermination. And finally, a volcano has erupted in Iceland, prompting the evacuation of tourists and residents. The eruption is part of a series of volcanic activity in the region, with several volcanoes having erupted in recent years. Iceland is located on the mid-Atlantic ridge, where the Eurasian and North American plates are moving apart, resulting in high volcanic activity. The country's unique geology makes it prone to volcanic eruptions, with around 130 volcanoes, including stratovolcanoes, shield volcanoes, and volcanic fields. The eruption is likely related to the increased seismic activity in the region. Iceland's volcanic systems are closely monitored by scientists who provide early warnings and updates on volcanic activity. The Icelandic Met Office and the University of Iceland's Institute of Earth Sciences closely monitor the country's volcanic activity, providing updates and warnings to ensure public safety. That's all for the Globe this week. Mariam, it's back to you for the continuation of the news. I remain Sandra Akemi.
Let's join the sports desk for Sports Brief.
Nigeria's First Lady Senator Oluremi Tinubu is expected to declare open the 39th African Women's Volleyball Club Championship at the Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, this Thursday. The championship, which commences from the 1st to 14th April 2025, will feature 16 teams, with Nigeria Customs representing Nigeria. In today's fixtures, Carthage Volleyball Club of Tunisia lost 3-1 to APR of Rwanda, 25-18, 24-26, 23-25, and 22-25 in the curtain raiser of the tournament. While Nigeria Customs Service host will size up against Mayokani Evolution of Cameroon in the second match of the day, immediately after the opening ceremony. This is the second time Nigeria is hosting the championship. The first was in 1996. Meanwhile, Nigeria's President Bola Tinubu, represented by the Chairman National Sports Commission, Malam Shehu Dikko, on Wednesday, declared open the inaugural Niger Delta Region Sports Festival at the Uyo Township Stadium, organized by the Niger Delta Development Commission. A long list of stakeholders, including host governor Pastor Umo Basi Eno, were in attendance to give the sporting showpiece live, with spectators and athletes hoping for the best in a competition many described as a bold step that aligns with the renewed Hope National Sports Economy agenda, where promising young talents would be discovered and nurtured for national glory. Elsewhere, Nigeria Super Eagles goal sensation and Galatasaray loanee Victor Osimhen continued his impressive goal-scoring ability with a first-half brace in the Turkish Cup quarter-final match against Fenerbahce on Wednesday, winning 2-1. Osimhen has now netted 28 goals and 5 assists in 32 matches across all competitions in the current season. With Sports Brief, Abdullah Hajia, NTA News.
Thank you very much for watching the news at 1 p.m. on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Do join us at 7 for more news. Good afternoon.